No, it's coming. All right, we're live. How you doing, Matt? We're
Good
live.
evening.
Welcome back to InfoSec to Insanity.
Welcome,
Yeah,
welcome.
the podcast where firewalls are optional, but calling out bullshit is mandatory. How do you like that tagline?
I think it's great. I like it. The
I think it's great.
bullshit, 100%. That's what we're all about, calling out that crap. So, yeah, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of the River Rhine right now, and I don't know what bandwidth's going to be like, but I wasn't going to cancel tonight. I figured we'll just make do.
That's why
I know for
you're
the
an amazing
podcast it'll be
human.
fine. For the live, it'll probably be frustrating as hell. I
That's
don't know
why
if
you're
that's true,
amazing
man.
human.
Crazy
It's
for
like
sure.
what, 3 in the morning there?
403.
4:03.
403.
Dedicated. You're dedicated.
Yeah. Well, this is good for us, man. It's good for mental health. It's good to check in with you. You know, it's good to talk with a pal when you're on your trip. Plus, it's at 4 o'clock in the morning. There's like nobody awake. Only the security guy.
And
And
then
the
the
security
the
guy
real
was like,
security guy.
he's like, is everything okay? Yeah. He's like, hey, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Where's the coffee?
just,
We get
just
treated
give
like
me.
royalty on this river thing.
That's in
What's
Europe or
that?
something, right? Like a boat. It's a river cruise, not like a ocean cruise, right?
Right.
That's interesting. I've never
Yeah.
done
Right
one of
now we're
those.
coming up on what was that town I told you we were coming up on?
That
Vogelsheim,
Vogelsheim, yeah.
which
That's
is
cool. Is it like a bigger
France.
boat? Or, well, I guess it can't be bigger if it's in a river. That kind of makes sense. Answer my own question.
It's pretty big. I think there's like 200 people on this ship.
Okay, that's big
You know.
for what I was thinking.
Yeah. Right.
Are all the
Yeah.
rooms pretty
It's cool, man.
solid?
We were
Like good
up in the
views and shit?
Swiss. Well, I didn't know my wife like upgraded us to like I don't know, like the the really nice room, I guess, because it's they treat us like royalty. We have our own butler,
Jeez.
and I'm not a butler guy, so when that butler shows up, I'm like, when that butler shows up, I'm like, what are you doing here? What are you doing? Like, do you need anything? I'm like, no, fuck. If I need anything, I'd come talk to you. I'm good. Okay, well, we'll be back in a little bit. I'm like, you don't have to come back, man. I can push the button on the phone and shit if I need something.
I'm an adult. I got this, bro.
Yeah, yeah, totally. All right. So, for listeners, this is me. I'm Evan Francine. Joining me is my great friend Matt Goodacre. Pretty damn good security guy too, I might add. And we're just
Appreciate
catching
you.
up a little bit. I'm on the River Rhine. Matt's in Wisconsin. Do you have a river in Wisconsin, Matt? We should put you on a river while we do this.
There's the Fox River is one of the big ones. Yeah. I don't think they
Fox
do
River.
boats down that though. It's mostly used for like lumber and paper mill stuff. So maybe.
We should do a podcast episode with you on one of those lumber mill boats.
I'd have a hard hat on and I'd be sitting on like a Palcon or something. Pelican case, that's it.
Right. Yeah.
Real roughing it.
All right. Yeah, I don't know what bandwidth's going to be like, man. But we're about ready to go through these locks. I think we're coming into this town this afternoon called. I don't know what the hell time it is. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm not even going
You
to talk
should
about
get
it right
better
now.
service if you're going through a town, I would
There's too
think.
much shit. Yeah, especially I got a butler. Why can't I get fucking internet?
Right? You should have him
This is the
You
year
know what you need your
20.
butler to do? Stand outside with his arm up and get like a good signal. Like, do the whole thing. Have him hold the cable.
Here, take this. Go stand on the roof. Yeah, go stand on the roof.
That's what I need you to do. I
All right,
don't
this is
need.
episode 41 tonight. You don't need
Yes,
what?
sir. Oh, you don't need toilet paper or anything from him. You just need him to stand on the roof.
Right. I got a thing. I don't know what the hell this is for. Oh shit. All right. Turn on lights. I don't know how to turn it off now. Okay. All right. So we're talking about something. What are we talking about tonight? We're talking. Okay, episode 41. Allegedly, we're going to go deep. We're talking about something nobody in cybersecurity ever puts on the slide deck, I guess. And that's loneliness. Not the
Mm.
miss my dog kind. I'm talking about soul eating, silence wearing, leader crushing, that kind of loneliness that shows up between Zoom meetings and sticks around when the dashboards go dark. What do you think, Matt? I wrote that.
I
Well, I had a
I
little
think it's
help.
great. I think it matches the other quote you've been known to say is it's lonely at the top of the mountain. So like as you work your
Yeah, I
way
tell
through
that to
the
leaders.
industry or up, your peer group gets smaller and smaller.
The peer group and the people that can actually empathize. There's one thing about, you know, not being lonely is when people can actually understand what the hell you're going through. And I think, yeah, that's one of the things I've used, one of the quotes I've used with my own leaders and other leaders, because, we do talk. Occasionally you run into somebody, it's like, oh, yeah, man, you're struggling with the same thing I'm struggling with. And there's two quotes that I use all the time when it comes to leadership. One is the wind blows the strongest at the top of the mountain, meaning, as you continue to rise in your career or rise in leadership, uh, if you're doing it right, it gets harder. Shit is supposed to roll uphill. It's not supposed to roll downhill. So yeah, you're going to catch the shit and it's going to be hard. And then the second thing is that, yeah, it's lonely at the top of the mountain because nobody else can relate to what it's like, you know, certain struggles. My wife and I have had this conversation a lot of times, because she'll ask, she wants to support me so badly, and she'll ask, what's going on? You try to explain it to her, and you can tell by the look on her face, she has no idea what the fuck you're talking about. So it's not her problem. But it's a problem where, it's lonely, for sure. So anyway, we're going to talk about that because, this is more shit that I wrote here. I got notes now. I feel like we're getting a show going, sort of.
We're
But here's the
rocking and
deal: we
rolling,
spent the
dude.
last few months talking about. Yeah, it'd be nice to have better bandwidth. I don't know
It's
how
all
to
right.
do that here. I don't know what to hack. I don't know what to hack to get it better here. Oh, we should talk about that dude. You were talking. You have that. I
Yeah,
noticed a
he's
conversation
here.
you were having with somebody about the OSI model on.
Oh,
Is
on
he?
LinkedIn. That 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 just blew my mind. I think he's
Yeah.
I want to say he's just trolling to get clicks and views and stuff, but like this guy on LinkedIn comes out and says, "I don't understand why people like the OSI model. People are gatekeeping with this. The OSI model doesn't do anything. It's theoretical, zero application. It doesn't protect anything. It doesn't align with zero trust." I'm like, maybe you don't like know what it's designed for. Like, I don't know. I'm just so
Well,
confused.
obviously you're fucking.
Like it to me, it seems like
Yeah.
a security person that's
Okay.
never done
We
anything
okay.
with a
Let's go find
network.
this. Did you send me this thing?
I did. I texted you the post.
Right. One. All right. Let's see if I have enough bandwidth to open up this website.
But the craziest thing is like he's the CEO of
Over
like a
LinkedIn.
security
Yeah, because
consulting company.
let's go through this point by point.
I don't
Dude,
get it.
that shouldn't give you any credit at all. There are so many practitioners in this industry that aren't worth their weight in shit. And I get angry about that because they come off
Maybe
like they're giving this great advice, like they know their shit because they did this, they did that, they've been in this industry for a long time. That doesn't mean shit. The fact of the matter is, you know, there's a lot of really there's a lot of security people that really suck that have been in this industry for a long time. And that's why I don't mind calling them out because like if you're doing a disservice on the other end of this, people are going to suffer for your shit advice. And people like us, me, you, others that actually do, I think do security the right way, we have to come around and pick up all your shit.
it's almost like they
So
create
let's
job
let's
security
go. And I
for
don't know this
us.
person. I don't want this job security, man. I want to
Yeah, I
spend
just
more
want
time
fake
on
shit.
riverboat cruises
Yeah.
with my wife and shit. Right. Yeah, fix for like real problems, not the same recycled bullshit problems that I was working on, you know, 30 years ago. I really think that, I think for security people, we should, always, I mean, anybody who's wants to be really good at their craft should always be working on getting better, always trying to learn something new. I mean, but I swear I could have, over the last 25 years, I could have not learned a damn thing new and still been plenty successful in this industry. That's how much progress we made.
That's sad.
So yeah, this is I mean, we call out bullshit, right? We just opened the podcast with like this new, not new, but it's I guess it's new. This I don't know, phrase or whatever the hell you call it.
It's our
Buzz
punchline.
shit, I don't even know what to call it. Punchline, right, that we call out bullshit. So here's some bullshit, and I'll just read it. I'm not going to say the guy's name because I don't know the guy, and he should be here to defend himself if he wanted to talk about it. But this is what it says. So throughout my career, I could never understand the obsession with the OSI model and how many gatekeepers loved to measure how good they were through their ability to create new, creative, and utterly useless mnemonic devices to remember the 7 layers, as if knowing the 7 layers ever prevented a security breach. Well, let's just stop right there for a minute. Gatekeeper, I don't know what the hell that usually gatekeeper means. I have something and I'm holding from you, right? So if you want to get to this thing, you got to come through me to get this. That right there, just your first sentence shows you don't know what the OSI model is or what it was used for or what it's used for. It stands for Open Systems Interconnection or Interconnect Model, right? Open. Prior to the OSI model, you had Xerox, IBM, all these computer makers, all these network makers who were making networks and making things, but they couldn't talk to each other because everything was proprietary. You had no way for a Xerox network system to talk to an IBM network system or to talk to a Northern Telecom, system because they were building things differently. So you created this open system interconnect model and it's open. There's no gatekeeper. You can go read about it. You can go read the damn standard if you want. It's IEEE. So just that is already kind of pissing me off because I don't even understand
No,
why you called
what
it
is
that.
for?
And the 7 layers were never meant to, the 7 layers were never meant to prevent a security breach. This was all about connectivity and two systems from different manufacturers to talk to each other. Security was an afterthought. So all right. And then he goes on, as if regurgitating, please do not throw sausage pizza away is some kind of magic spell that can ward off threats and cyber business risk.
No
It's,
idea what
it's
that
like, it's
means.
completely illogical. It- Well, yeah. Well, now you're talking about something between knowing something and using it, doing it, right? That's always been not related to OSI model, but just like book smart people in general, like knowing it, that's only half the battle, right?
It's like coming out of college and then
Then he
having
goes on, you
20
know what?
years
Maybe they're
experience.
right. 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 Then he goes on, you know what? Maybe they're right. Or perhaps, just maybe, the OSI model is the single greatest marketing scheme we've ever seen in cyber or IT. Okay, I don't know what that. So here's the part that no one has been brave enough to say to your face. Oh, I want him to come on with us. The OSI model is purely theoretical. It's not theoretical, it's conceptual. So again, you're wrong. It's not theoretical, it's conceptual, meaning it's not linear. It's not like this directly relates, or not directly relates, but is applicable in this way. But it's not theoretical. It has zero real world application aligned to how networks actually function. Holy shit, are you stupid?
It's like the
I hate. I
basis
mean, I don't
for
like
how
calling
it
people stupid,
works.
but that's stupid. It's absolutely how the network works, and it aligned with how a network works. I mean, I've taught networking. I used to teach CCNP for Cisco back in, like, I don't know, I don't even know what year it is, but a long time ago. And oh my God, I mean, I love networks. I've always, yeah, OSI is so applicable to how a network
Never
actually
looked at a
functions.
packet or never
And we
done
could go through, I
anything.
mean, we could take an episode, right? We could take an episode and just talk about OSI if you wanted. And maybe we'll do that, in a future episode.
As an
It hasn't
education
been
tool.
updated since the 1980s, right? And yet we still treat it like the second coming of cyber Jesus. Who is the second coming of cyber Jesus? I don't even know what the hell to say to that. Like, it's not. Here's the thing about this. It has zero real world application aligned to how networks actually function, and then calling it this cybersecurity hasn't prevented um, a single breach bullshit or whatever. It just shows how this person has no idea what the OSI model is, how to apply it. Probably doesn't know shit about networking. I mean, it's all right. And he goes on, and here is exactly where it falls flat. It doesn't reflect real world networks. I would like to teach this
Mm.
person how the OSI model works, because it does reflect real world networks.
Capture a packet
It,
anywhere.
it, it's how it's it's how every real world network works. I mean, it's the foundation conceptually of how networks work. It doesn't protect data, access, or identities. No, that's pretty much up there on layer 6 and 7, if you knew the layers. And the further up you get on the layers of the OSI model, the more complicated things get. So yeah, you wouldn't, and it still does. It does protect each function, each like physical layer. Let's take that one for instance, the dumbest layer on the model. How does it protect data access and identities? Well, it depends on the media you're using, right? If I needed to really protect the network traffic at the physical layer, then I'd probably not tap into, that's a joke, fiber, right?
Right.
If I
It's
was
the
worried
best.
about running this across, yeah, or I want to run this across a campus and I want to prevent people from eavesdropping into my network traffic, I'm probably not going to use wireless, right? Um, maybe I'll use, maybe I'll use, you know, unshielded twisted pair, but that's pretty easy to tap into. So maybe I'd go with fiber. You know what I mean? It's so yes, it does protect it, but at what layer are we talking about, right? Because then you would build on top of that.
It's almost like
So
they're thinking like
as
the
a
network is just a thing and you can't conceptualize that there are these different pieces that tie together that make the whole thing work, which is why it's a model.
well, and are you looking for something that tells you step by step on how to do something that doesn't require any skill or thought? Because I mean, that's not what the OSI model is, but you need some skill to apply it. It doesn't explain trust relationships or identity boundaries. Well, potentially it could at layer 7, layer 6. I mean, if you're talking layer 1 shit, layer 2 shit, maybe. I mean, these different layers have different functions and how the network works. It doesn't align with zero trust in any material or impactful way. Well, fuck, good luck trying to do zero trust without the OSI model because you won't have a
Zero
fucking
trust is
network.
bullshit anyway, so just don't plug in and you have your zero trust. Easy.
Right. In fact, it's diametrically, wow, that's a big word. It's diametrically opposed to the very objectives and enforcement mechanisms that zero trust requires. And yet, huge swaths of professionals still cling to it like the gospel. But here's the thing, none of us should be surprised. Rote memorization is objectively easier than trying to generate an original thought or synthesize new knowledge and understanding. Wow, dude. Yeah,
You went
I
off
would
the
like to
deep end
invite
there at
this
the
person.
end.
I'm going to try to connect with him on LinkedIn. All right.
I feel like he has to be trolling.
Yeah,
Like
we're going to
there's
have to
no fucking
connect
way.
with this person. Well, we'll have to read the rest of his, posts and comments to see. Claims to have 23 years experience, 24, 26. All right. We'll talk to him. I'll reach out to him. We'll see what we can do together.
All right.
All right. So
That
back
was
to the
entertaining.
episode. Yeah. Well, I didn't get in deep. 'Cause I wasn't prepared to think about that because the hardest uh, debates to have, I think, mentally for me are the ones with people that don't make any fucking sense.
Because you have to like
Because at
do
least if you
work to
had some
like.
logical basis for what you were talking, I can't. How do you logically argue with somebody who's illogical? It's like it's almost like the political debates of the day. When you've got the left and the right talking about shit, and you try to bring something up to somebody, and like you want to understand something, and if they view it as like you're attacking their point, and they can't defend their point with any logic, they end up either changing the subject or attacking your character. And when I read that post, it's like I, you switched points. There's no logic in like what are you actually saying with all of this? So I don't know. I mean, maybe that lends itself to what you're thinking on. Maybe he's just trolling because it does seem kind of trollish because it's like you're not making any damn sense.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
But even then, like this
I don't know.
trolling culture, like Reichert was saying in the chat here, like negative stuff gets attention, but I feel like there's unintended consequences of doing that when it comes to career fields or paths or content that are designed to protect or like defend things. Like I feel like there should be a line.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like telling that dry humor joke that nobody gets. You know, I do that with my wife a lot. I don't even realize I do it. Like I'll say something, I think, "Oh, that's funny as hell," and she took me literally. So she's like offended, and I'm like, "Oh fuck, that was a joke." She's like, "How do you? I can't tell if it's a joke or not." It's kind of like that for me. No, no. Anyway, we're here to talk about loneliness. We're going to get to that here. That's what the third segment. But right now, when we talk about loneliness, it's not the miss my dog kind. Like right now, I have 5 dogs, right? And I'm here in the middle of, I don't know, France or Switzerland or something, and all my dogs are at home. So I feel bad about that. But I'm more talking about like the soul eating, silence wearing, leader crushing kind of loneliness that shows up between Zoom meetings and sticks around when the dashboards go dark. The last few months, we've been talking about this mental health awareness uh, stuff, mental health without the bullshit series, right? And that was because May was Mental Health Awareness Month, and you and I both, kind of committed to this mental health thing. And honestly, 1 month doesn't even scratch the surface about mental health things. I think we could just maybe we could even do a podcast just on mental health and cybersecurity or mental health and whatever the hell, because it's like it's like exercise, like physical health. Like if you don't stay on top of it, it gets out of shape. It goes to shit.
Hmm.
So that's why I think we wanted to spend even and regardless of how many listeners we had. I mean, for me it was more about my own
Good for
mental health,
us.
honestly, and you, Matt. Yeah. So, but this is the last one in that series, and then we're going to switch up to something else, something actually more, not more. I don't know. You're going to see. I think if I'm rested and you're rested, you're going to see some fire in our belly when we talk about accountability.
Whew. All right.
That that pisses me off.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I I'm hearing. Well, I was in the hotel like a couple nights ago, and I was writing that first post, and uh, yeah, I haven't published it yet because I'm still like, man, no, this is too ornery. You know what I mean? It's too mad on this one. Got to tame it down a little bit, but I might not because we're gonna
Just
piss some
gotta
people
switch
off
out
in
the
that one for
words.
sure.
That's all.
Because we're yeah, because we're gonna be calling out some people, not individual people, but groups of people. I think in that podcast. I want to get this guy to come with us. Yeah, you're connected to him, Matt. This
Oh no, I was
Mr.
just
Identity
following
Security.
with him. He early on when I was pumping up the LinkedIn, he was like a influencer, and I followed him to try to learn some stuff.
He's
But
an influencer too.
I don't think he's added any value to me. So
Oh, we're gonna help him add value to us. Anyway, I got sidetracked again. So tonight we're not going to pull any punches. We're going to talk about why this industry, full of all the tools and the tech and the constant connection, why it makes so many of us feel like we're alone, like utterly alone. Um, that's going to be the main part of the segment, and then our main part of the show, and then we'll hit the what the fuck news of the week. That's always therapeutic, I think. Uh, we'll get our therapy dose of CISO humor. That segment. We'll dig into real shit in our main topic, as always, and then close out with one more fix to our beautifully broken industry. So buckle in, grab a drink or two. It would be weird if I grabbed like a drink at 4 a.m., but I don't drink
yeah,
anymore. If I did
yeah.
drink, it would it
But
would
it's a
be really weird to
cruise.
be like before my
It's a
wife even got up,
cruise. It wouldn't be that weird though.
before my wife even gets up in the morning. I'm like, hey, baby, good
Yeah.
morning. I'm gonna I'm gonna go back to the bedroom and pass out now. I'll wake up at lunch.
Thanks for playing.
All right, this is InfoSec to Insanity. It's time to get. Yeah, I love you. Yeah, I was trying to do the morning like love routine. Hey, you're looking pretty hot this morning. No, that wouldn't go good. That wouldn't go well at all. All right, let's get human, Matt. Segment one. What the fuck happened this week? I'll start with the first one. SharePoint. What the hell? I leave for a couple days, and this is what happens.
Are you
So
surprised?
SharePoint tool shell 0 day wrecks U.S. nuclear. No, not at all. Especially if it's Microsoft. 0 day wrecks U.S. nuclear and health agencies over the weekend. Last weekend, we're coming up on a weekend again here. Multiple 0 days in on-prem. So these are on-premise SharePoint servers. Do you want to know the CVEs? If you're into the CVE thing, CVE 2025 53770 and 53771. These were weaponized by China linked groups. The groups, it's not just one group. This is definitely a coordinated effort amongst
Oh,
groups. Linen Typhoon, Violet Typhoon, Storm 2603, impacting over 400 organizations globally, including NNSA and NIH.
well, what's really
I'll
interesting
stop
to
there for a second,
me
Matt. What are your thoughts on this so far?
is that it took China this long. Like they hacked Microsoft what last year and stole all their source code. So you know they're sitting on multiples of this. Like I'm surprised it took this long for more to pop up. Honestly,
Well, this is the game, man. It's like this big the where we're at in like the cyber warfare between the United States, Russia, um, Iran, Israel, UK, Seven Eyes, Six Eyes, whatever the hell, Australia. I mean, it's all this like asset accumulation mode where you're not actively really tipping things over. You're not actively inflicting damage upon your opponent. You're just gathering assets that you can use later. So it's like this standoff, right? The You haven't seen a lot of Russian shit, for the last few years because they've been really busy with, I think, just keeping the lights on and
the
the Ukraine
information
stuff.
warfare, right?
But yeah, so that's why you see a lot of things that it has taken a long time because it just hasn't been their next move yet. I think they're disappointed that I think it went. I don't know. I mean, this is speculation, but I think it started with the kind of the poking and prodding, and then somebody went, one of these groups or somebody went off script a little bit and and it made it noisy. And then they just went, well, fuck, now they know we're here. Let's just go balls to the wall, uh,
Get what we can get.
and grab
Yeah.
everything as quickly as we can. Yeah. So it's weird. I was talking to my wife yesterday, and I don't like feeling like this, but I know enough about. I've never been to China, um, but I've done enough things with Chinese things. Like when we're here in Switzerland, you see a group of Chinese people, tourists. And I was telling my wife, like, I don't like feeling like this, but when I see these groups of Chinese people, I feel like they're spies.
Hmm.
And it starts to feel like, God, it sounds like conspiracy theory shit. But I know enough about the control of the Chinese Communist government over their population to know they track every single person in and out of that country, like everything. They have full control over all your electronic equipment. So as they're sitting around taking pictures and everything, those are all going directly to the Chinese government. Not directly, but it's getting there. And they brainwash their population. So I'm like, God, I hate thinking that because it's like you don't want to think like these people are bad people because they're not bad people. They're just good people that are under the control of bad people. So yeah,
Yeah.
Chinese things. It's getting funkier and funkier with that whole shit. All right. So Microsoft released emergency patches and urged disconnected mitigation. So that means unplug your shit to do the mitigation. But adversaries, these Chinese, stole cryptographic keys. That definitely makes things. This is what tells me that it was like, they were
Deep.
taking these baby steps and using these systems as pivots. And then they got something got off track a little bit and they tripped over, it's almost like you tripped a tripwire, like somebody walked across a tripwire and it's like, okay, shit. Because then they seem to go really aggressive by stealing the cryptographic keys. That then gives you like everything, right? So
Right.
full lateral movement throughout the network on in whatever patching doesn't get rid of it. It's essentially rebuilt. I mean, you have to start over with those systems if they've got your cryptographic keys. Uh, then they went, then these are on-prem servers. So if you're not running an on-prem SharePoint server, which most of us are not, this did not affect allegedly the cloud-based SharePoint
I doubt it.
systems or instances.
We'll see.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not. Well, that's the frustrating thing with if you can't stay on top of all this shit because there's just too much shit. You know what I mean? I don't have time to dig in any more than this on what actually happened. So my curiosity is like, oh yeah, really? What the fuck? But who's got time?
Well, and that's why
I don't
they
know.
want you to go to the cloud is so they can just auto update everything for you. So they can basically be less or they can be more
Yeah,
lazy with their code,
and not just
have
auto
more
update, but also right. Well, not just auto update, but delete the logs so you don't see them anyway.
Oh,
You know, I
yeah,
mean,
then they don't have to tell you. Yeah.
if you oh god, working with Microsoft to try to troubleshoot shit is like shit.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Microsoft
So
sucks.
yeah, I don't know. Pretty much. I'm I'm definitely not a fan. All right, the what the fuck angle here. We're talking about nuclear security agencies, hospitals being hit via collaboration tools. You know, not sci-fi on-prem is breach on-prem. So the collaboration platform becomes the riot gate for advanced intruders. Legacy infrastructure plus flawed patches equals zero-day nightmare. Matt, what's
Think
our
how many
comedic
people
punchline on this
still
one?
have SharePoint that don't even know they still have it. You know, you migrated up to the cloud, but you still got a server sitting there running some calendar or some shit. Yeah,
Right.
crazy.
If I had if I had better bandwidth right now, I would log into my Office 365 account and go through the list of applications that I have that I don't use. They came with the damn subscription. It's like 30 apps. I just need fucking email and Word and
Yep.
Excel. But all these other ones, yeah, I don't need those. All right, so congrats, sysadmins. You just managed the ultimate VIP SharePoint surprise party for your state-sponsored guests.
Nice.
All right, the second one on what the fuck this week. Crush FTP. Crush FTP, one word. I don't know if you may not have used, but it's a very popular FTP server. FTP, file transfer protocol for our friend Marcus, who doesn't understand the OSI model. Uh, FTP runs on port 21. So port 21, that would be, a gap between the network layer and the transport layer. Um, because it also goes over to this DoD model. But we use that to transfer files. So CISA and vendor alerts. So anyway, Crush FTP 0-day admin level access. We love 0 days. We love admin level access. So CISA and vendor alerts dropped after the publication of CVE 2025-54309, a critical remote RCE flaw in Crush FTP. It's reportedly been exploited since July 18th, which makes it 1 week ago. Attackers can gain admin privileges via HTTPS, then pivot, exfiltrate data, or drop malware. This is what I'm talking about, man. This is the way we've always hacked. You identify a vulnerability, compromise the vulnerability, elevate your privileges, establish persistence, delete logs, pivot, repeat until you
It's
find the shit
nothing
that
new.
you're looking for. So the attack sequence, no, man. And that's the thing. Like we talk about TTPs, right? Um, I don't even know what the hell we gave. What are TTPs? What do the letters mean again? Anyway, it's
Tactical
essentially
techniques and
tactics, and
procedures.
it's the tactics that whatever. See what I mean? We never use that. It's just like how if you wanted to simplify that, it's just how the fuck we do shit.
Well, now we have miter attack, cyber
But
kill
that's always the way we've
chain,
done shit.
make
We
it
add
more
more
complicated.
complexity to the same simple basic shit. Yeah, but we don't need the OSI model because that definitely doesn't
It's
fucking
fake
work.
news.
All right, so right, the what the fuck angle on this one? Oh, okay, yeah, admins. Yeah, these people get admin privileges via HTTPS. They pivot, they exfiltrate data. So, like, because you hear a lot of people like, well, that's not a target. I mean, I don't really care about that system, because there's nothing on that system. But the attackers aren't trying to attack just that system, right? They're
No,
trying to
they don't care.
pivot beyond that
Yeah.
system to get a foothold somewhere else. So what the fuck angle on this one? File transfer tools are the Rodney Dangerfield of IT. Let me repeat that. File transfer tools are the Rodney Dangerfield of IT. If you don't know who Rodney Dangerfield is, watch Caddyshack. No respect, but 10 day later, it runs your whole shop. So bad. Comedic punchline on this one: who needs ransomware? Just hijack the FTP box and voila, you're God on the network. Got anything
Yup.
to add to that one, Matt?
Other than I try to say this same shit every day, it doesn't matter about the system. Gotta think past.
Right. Yeah, and yeah. Anyway, I was going to go on a rant, but I'm not sure I'm awake enough to go on a rant and make
You need your
sense.
energy for the day.
All right, so number 3, UK co-op. Yeah, I need yeah, I need something. All right, so 3, UK co-op retail chain, so UK, whatever. But that's the thing too. Like we talk about pivots on individual networks, we also talk about pivots between networks. So a system that isn't even on my network is compromised, and then that is used to pivot into my network, and that's a supply chain attack. But that's not necessarily here. But the point is, like, just because this shit happens in the UK doesn't mean it doesn't have an effect on U.S. operations in other places. So this UK co-op retail chain was hit. 6.5 million member records stolen. This breach happened in April. So April to May, May to June, 3 months ago. It just went public. 6.5 million co-op members had their personal data, emails, phone numbers, address, loyalty IDs, all lifted via social engineering, tied to the Dragon Force Scattered Spider group attack, whatever. They use password resets on an employee Active Directory, stealing ntds.dit. God. The what the fuck angle on this one? Remember Qantas? We talked about Qantas, 5.7 million. Here's 6.5 million more. Retail plus loyalty data is pure phishing gold.
How are you not protecting like
Yep.
that most important file? And then yeah, I mean
Yeah,
this
it's a pretty important file.
a year ago, I mean, you should have put in a control for your password resets. I mean, Scattered Spider hit crap 2 years ago with this social engineering of the help desk or whatever. Like, you should have a compensating control for this at this point. If you don't, what the fuck are you doing?
It's a good question, man. And here's the thing, and we're going to really hit on this stuff hard when we get into the accountability series because these are your fucking customers. This isn't your data. This is your customers' data. It's their phone number, it's their email address, it's their physical address, it's their loyalty ID. Even though you made the loyalty ID, it's tied to them, it's their data. And so, what are the consequences for treating your customers' data like shit? because of something stupid, because of incompetence. I mean, what the fuck? Do we have Marcus running this network? I don't know. All right. So, yeah, sorry. I wasn't going to drop names, but I just did.
Yeah, it's
All
just the
right. Your
first name.
loyalty card should earn you coffee, not identity chaos. Yeah, I'll get to the last name later. Your loyalty card should earn you coffee, not identity chaos. But hey, at least co-op members get unlimited spam.
Boo yeah. I
Okay,
love me
boom.
some more spam.
I told my what right. I told my wife about this next one. So this next one, she loves Louis Vuitton, I guess. Do the cool people just call it Louis? Probably. I don't know. All I know is it's expensive as hell. But I guess there was a Louis Vuitton breach. 419,000 are affected down under. This would be meaning Australia, New Zealand. They confirmed a July 2nd breach via a third party vendor, exposing 419,000 customers, names, contact information, dates of birth, addresses, purchase history, no financial data. But again, man, this is people don't who don't do attacks for a living don't realize how golden this shit is from a phishing perspective, especially rich people. Only people that buy Louis Vuitton bags are rich people. They have money. Like this is I mean, if I was a bad
Gold.
guy, I would love to have this list of oh my god, dude. But I'm not a bad guy, so I don't it pisses me off though. And I know rich people probably aren't paying attention to this. Um, so
They
the
won't even
attackers, they're going to use it
notice
for phishing or the black market, right?
because
Probably
they
not.
got so much money. Like, if
And
there's
on the
any
black
sort of
market,
impact, like, let's just say Louis Vuitton increases their prices by 3%. Like, they're not gonna fucking notice. It's all good.
mhm, no. Well, and like the value of this list on the dark web, I would pay. I'm not a bad guy, but I'd pay a premium for this list for sure. Because I'm like, this is just I would much rather have 419,000 Louis Vuitton customers than 50 million co-op member things. You know, what I mean, 'cause this is targeted attack. This is
Yeah, you have
it's a
more
better return on my
potential.
investment as an attacker.
Yep.
Yeah, this list is amazing. So the what the fuck angle? Luxury now leaky. Getting your $5,000 bag just got a side of breach risk. Those bags are so damn expensive. My wife makes me go into these stores. We don't buy a lot, thank God. But she makes me go into these stores and you look at the price tags on these bags and it's like, holy crap, man.
It's like this big.
And then she says, well, it's, yeah. And she says, well, it's quality. And I'm like, there's no, I don't fucking get it. So we don't do that. I mean, she does. She still buys like once or one or two. I don't know what the hell she does. I don't run the budget. Thank God. Excuse me. All right, the comedic punchline: bot luxury. Now your emails runway ready for cyber criminals. All right, the last one on our what the fuck happened this week is new ransomware. Awesome. We always could use some new players in this game we're playing. New ransomware Crux by Blackbyte emerges in the wild. So what happened? Security firm Huntress. I like Huntress. Huntress. I know the guys over there. They're good people. Um, they spotted a fresh ransomware variant called Crux, allegedly deployed by the notorious Blackbyte group. It's already traced to at least 3 attacks this July, so this last month. And how it works, Crux is more aggressive than your typical extortion malware. It disables Windows recovery using bcdedit.exe, exfiltrates data with rclone, and spreads laterally through the network before even encrypting files. So this is going to sit on the network for a while. It'll trigger when the attacker is ready for it to trigger, which is a nice feature in ransomware. Uh, because you'll have a
You can
command and
have the
control, so you'll
big
have a
boom
report back home to the
detonation
attacker. Exactly.
versus the
Yeah, there's nothing
slow.
worse. I mean, they've gotten a lot better at this. Yeah,
It's
yeah. I want to
almost
hit the
like they
you want to
are
hit the high value
hiring
targets, right?
industry system admins because you're starting to see more, or at least I'm noticing more and more like legit tools be used. Like, oh, why aren't they using that? Oh, there it is. Oh, you should try that. Oh, there it is. It's interesting.
Right. Whenever you're an attacker, too, the more you can live off the land, the better, because it doesn't trigger things. You
Hmm.
know, um, BCD edit.exe is probably whitelisted or allow
You
listed,
use that when you're
right?
imaging
So,
systems a lot.
right. And who's logging it and who's watching for unusual activity on that executable? Very few people. Should you be? Obviously, I guess, if you want to, you know, try to get ahead of this one. The entry point, one of the confirmed incidents began with stolen credentials. No shit. Stolen
Dun dun
credentials. That
dun.
never fucking happens. That's that's like 99% of all your attacks happen this way. So stolen credentials used in an RDP login. So let's say all expose RDP. And Marcus, RDP runs on port 3389. So if you're threat hunting, uh, that's where you'd find it, unless you changed it, I suppose. So the what the fuck angle on this one, this isn't your grandma's ransomware. It's stealthy, surgical, and built for persistence. Think of it as Black Byte 2.0 on performance enhancers, because God knows Black Byte 1.0 was certainly not effective, right?
Hmm. No, I think they made a
I'm
lot.
telling you, man, we keep falling farther and farther behind on this game.
Yeah.
Uh, the, com- the comedic punchline on this one, Crux, is like watching a ninja disable your backups, sneak into your fridge, and then set fire to your house with a napkin. No drama, just destruction. I love that comedic
That's
punchline.
awesome. I mean, that hits like home
Yeah,
on how
that is what it
fucking
is.
dumb we are.
Yeah, and so, here I'll repeat it again in case anybody missed it. So, Crux is like watching a ninja disable your backups, sneak into your fridge, and then set fire to your house with a napkin. No drama, just destruction. All right, let that sink in. So what the fuck level conclusion this week? Collaboration platforms are backdoored, file transfer tools are backdoored, loyalty programs are phishing bait, and luxury brands leak identities. If you're whitelisting 0-day risk zones or relying on vendor infosec, wake the hell up. Between tool shell SharePoint hacks, crush FTP 0 days, giant loyalty data dumps, and now Crux ransomware, attackers are hitting systems relentlessly. They always have been, but it seems like it's getting worse, because it is getting worse. From collaboration platforms to file transfer tools on every front, ransomware isn't just encrypt and run anymore. It's stealthy, destructive, and creeping sideways in your network like a glitchy horror movie villain. Hmm. It makes me want to disconnect from the world and maybe take a river cruise somewhere.
Yeah, I feel like
Oh
that
wait,
might be a
Matt, that's what I'm
good
doing.
idea. Feels like I want to disconnect and go to
Yeah,
Mexico
yeah, yeah.
in
We could go
a
on.
short time.
Come on, brother. Come on, let's
It's
do
on
it.
the plan, man. It's on the
It's hard to
plan.
get ransomware when I'm sitting on the beach, disconnected from everything. All right, segment 2, CISO humor. Now, Matt, I'm going to expect a little bit of interaction. Not interaction. You've been interacting perfectly, but a couple of jokes that you're going to tell, I think, in this one.
I see.
So the
I
CISO
see
humor
it.
for today: zero budget, max burnout. Yeah. So welcome back to the CISO therapy hour. That's, well, it's not a whole hour. It's going to be like, I don't know, 20 minutes. Depends on how much I talk, I suppose. This is where your firewall's not the only thing on the edge, and your IR plan doubles as your sleep schedule. So I'm going to do this first one, Matt, and then I want you to do the next one. All right. So the first one, you might be a CISO if you've got 9 dashboards, 2 multi-factor authentication tools, 3 compliance frameworks, and still zero clue what your devs just pushed to prod. You might be a CISO. What's the next one, Matt?
You might be a CISO if your last vacation involved reading audit logs from a beach chair. You might be a CISO.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever done that?
Not. Well, I mean, would we consider a notification with log data in it reading your audit log? Does it need to be raw log? Am I
No, I think you're good
overanalyzing?
then. No, that's a good question, man. I think I like the fact man, that's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because you can overanalyze, but then you also don't want to assume, right? Because if you assume, you're fucked.
Right?
So I don't
We
think you're
live in
overanalyzing,
this
man.
pendulum thing.
But right, I don't think I've ever, as a CISO, I don't think I've ever been reading audit logs from a beach chair. But like you, I've gotten alerts from people on like these things that I should pay attention to or something. Uh, but now I have this team. I'm really, really grateful. I'm not a CISO anymore, obviously, thank God. Uh, but my team doesn't bother me. Like they know I'm on vacation right now, or sort of, and they don't bother me. They're the best fucking team ever. So shout out to FR Secure and Security Studio for being great. All right. You might be CISO if you got promoted for resilience, which turns out to mean hasn't rage quit yet. You might be CISO.
I loved that one when I read that.
Yeah.
You're just
All right. So this week's
grasping and
real
holding
CISO
on.
quote, swear to God, that's it. Yeah, that's resilience for a CISO. It's funny how much, it's still like the most common thing I hear from people that are getting into this industry that they want to be CISOs. It's like, I don't know. In hindsight, I mean, it was good to be CISOs, be a CISO at multiple places over the years, but I do miss the engineer days. I miss the days when I could just geek out with my shit and not have to deal with the politics, you know.
Well, the other side of
But
this is you
yeah,
have all these startups or, you know, funded companies and they're hiring a CISO. Like, bitch, you ain't CISOing nothing. You're a startup. You don't have anything. Like, go to a company that's been around 50, 100
yeah.
years and try CISOing over there. Good fucking luck. Do some real work.
Well, the good thing, I mean, I would love to be hired as, I would love to be hired as a CISO for a startup. Well, I mean, at this point in my career, like I could be choosy about where I want to be a CISO or not. But if I got to be, because that's the way I was with, my vCISO work. Like I wouldn't work for you unless I had direct communication regularly. It doesn't have to be every fucking day, but monthly, weekly with the CEO. If I didn't have that, and then they would always ask, well, why? Why is that so important? Otherwise, you're setting me up for failure. You're setting up the entire security program for failure. They'd be like, why is that? I go, because they're the ones who are ultimately responsible for this shit day to day. It's not you. It's not me. And they should know it, and we should have those discussions about things. I'm not looking to monopolize their time, but they need to know what the fuck we're dealing with. And the same thing, like if you were to hire me, and I think any good CISO as in a startup, you'd have to establish some rules. Because I would love that if you let me actually build it ground up early on. You know what I mean? I mean, we could do the OSI model from the beginning.
Start from scratch. I mean, you could do good shit like that. I got a joke here or a
Yeah.
CISO
So
quote
this
from
week's
AJ. It says, "You might be a
all right.
CISO
Give
if
it
your
to me.
CTO is always the one who speaks for you in meetings and is trying to take your position."
That's a good one. That's happened for sure. That's a good one. I like that. We'll have to make a eventually as we continue to do this and we get like this show, tightened up to where it's maybe production ready, maybe around episode 100 or so. Um, take these you might be a CISO quotes and put them in a book. That'd be kind of fun,
Ooh, yeah, I like that.
maybe. But take that one, Matt, because I don't believe he copyrighted that shit.
It's
I
not
think we can just take it and
trademarked.
steal it from him.
Yep, got it.
Oh, yeah, it's ours. All right. So this week's real CISO quote, swear to God, real. Quote, I spent more time explaining why MFA is mandatory than it took to implement it twice. That was the quote. And so it's like,
That
did you
just
take
blows
more
my
time
mind.
explaining it twice? Did you explain why MFA is mandatory twice, or did you have to implement it twice? Because
Oh,
that quote, you can take that either
right.
way,
Yeah, well,
right?
I mean, I could see
I don't
having
know.
to implement it twice because you change subscriptions and all of that, but you're not implementing MFA, you're implementing the tool. But even though you're changing company, what enterprise change makes you fucking overthink it because we
Hmm.
think people aren't resilient.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good point. All right, so Auditor Theater presents. Here's a It's not really that funny, but I had it here anyway. So, auditor says, can you prove this isn't a policy violation? CISO replies, can you prove that my soul still exists after this audit? The auditor, blank stare. Funny, maybe. Been there before, which makes it relevant. It depends on the auditor. For people who haven't been through audits, or if you have been through audits, there's different types of audits. You've got internal audits and you've got external. The internal audits are usually driven by an internal audit team, maybe from the board. Sometimes me as a CISO, I might ask for an audit because I want to know from an independent third party what this looks like so that I can identify gaps from a different perspective and make them better. I like internal audits. I love internal audits because it's internal. The team that doing the audit works for the same company that I work for. So it's like, great. Then you've got the external audits, which are like where you have, a regulator. Maybe if you're in banking, it might be an FDIC thing, it might be an OCC thing,
NCUA or
a third
something.
party audit, one of your big customers. Yeah. Yeah. I hate those audits. Depends. Some, sometimes you have auditors who actually understand that they don't know what they don't know. But sometimes, auditors, I think, feel like they get paid to find shit. And if they don't find shit, then they feel like they didn't do their job. So they find shit just for the sake of finding shit. That's not the kind of audit I want. Find real shit. Find shit that provides value. All right, jokes from the trench, Matt. We've got 4 jokes. And then we're actually going to get to this real thing we got coming up. So, joke number 1, Matt, tell it.
The only thing more fragile than our endpoint strategy is my will to live during budget season. Because we know budget season is a year round thing. Fuck.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome, man. All right. They asked if our cloud was secure. I said define secure. Then I cried in my car. That's
Move to the
happened.
cloud. You're secure. Yep, totally. All right.
Right?
Ooh, this is a long one. I like
Well,
it.
define secure. That's where the S2 score came from because my peer, the last CISO job was the CFO, and it was a great company, and I was at that level where the CFO was viewed as my peer, right? So I had a direct report to the CEO, which was, perfect. But every fucking time for a while, he would ask, "So Evan, are we secure?" And that's a loaded question. So every time I'd have to explain, it's relative. Secure is relative. It's risk, right? And you as the CFO should understand fucking risk. So if I ask you, "So CFO, are we rich?" You know, you would give me the same thing, like define rich, right? So define secure for me. So yeah, that was that joke actually came from my own frustration. All right. So anyway, you got the next joke, Matt. What is it?
All right. My board asked me how long it would take to recover from a ransomware attack. I said, define recover. They said, until things are back to normal. I said, you mean like before when we hired the intern who opened 6 ports and named our domain controller Yeetbox1? Yeet.
Box One. That would be funny to see a
That'd be a
domain
cool
controller
name.
named Yeet Box One.
I like
I don't
it.
even what the fuck. I don't even know what the fuck Yeet means. What does Yeet mean?
It's
That's like so not
it's a
my
thing
generation
right
anymore.
now. Yeah, you're yeeting. I think you're just pumping your hands and having good energy or something like that. I think is what the kids are doing. You gotta yeet.
All right, all right, I like it. All right, so the last joke. So my CEO walks into my office, right? Says, "Hey, I saw this new AI security tool on LinkedIn. Can we implement that instead of hiring another analyst?" I was like, I gave it some thought. And I was like, "All right, sure. But just so we're clear, the next time you need heart surgery, I'm going to bring in ChatGPT and a butter knife." Did you get it?
I got it. Nice.
All right. So repeat after me. This is your CISO therapy affirmation. Repeat after me. I am not I am not my backlog.
I am not my backlog.
I'm waiting, Matt. I am not my CVEs.
I'm not my CVEs.
I am a functional adult who just found another critical asset listed as Bob's test thing.
I am a functional adult who just found another critical asset listed as Bob's test thing.
There you go, man. Now you've had your CISO therapy. You've been affirmed.
Nice.
All right, Cluck, the closing soundbite for this. So, security leadership, where burnout is the baseline and do more with less is your love language. Stay tuned because coming up, we're diving into this week's mental health rabbit hole, and it's lonelier than your third party risk dashboard. So, this is the main topic, Matt. This is about we're all lonely. This was the last post that I had written in the non bullshit mental health series back in May. And this all started off. I mean, I remember taking this mental journey myself because I'm not, and I've qualified this many times, I'm not a mental health professional. I'm not a psychiatrist. I have no license to treat or diagnose any shit. But I felt like May was Mental Health Awareness Month. And I've lost over the years five friends to suicide. I've struggled with my own shit over the years, certainly in high stress, pressure situations. I've seen people break, I've broken. So when it was Mental Health Awareness Month, I was like, man, this needs so much more than just a month. Like this is something you have to learn habits. You have to stay focused on it. You have to have a support group around you to call you out when your shit ain't right. So all that stuff, and then it got me to writing like a blog series, and that blog series took us down this journey. Now, if your only exposure to that blog series was what you hear on this podcast, I apologize for that because we haven't really tightened up how we're doing the damn podcast yet. But implore everybody, and the reason why this is so important to me, I don't want to lose another fucking friend to mental health problems. And I know I can't prevent that from happening, but when I can always do, because when somebody takes their own life, I think it's normal as part of the processing. Like I ask myself, what the fuck could I have done? How did I miss? Did I miss some signs? I mean, what the hell? And you come to this conclusion, at least I did, that the thing I can do is make this break the stigma, because the stigma is bullshit, and make a safe place where people can talk about the shit that they're dealing with. So that's what I've been on that journey for, quite a while. So anyway, that was a ramble. It brings us to this last installment in this series, and it's so this industry, and a lot of us, it's crazy. And I've been here. The reason why I'm saying this is because I've been here where somebody would call me lonely. I'm like, I'm not fucking lonely. I got friends. I can pick up the phone and call somebody. That's not what lonely is. Lonely is, I mean, there's usually somebody you can talk to and shit. It's like, are you? Are you talking to them? So, in an industry that's built on connections, like networks, Marcus, we're talking about networks again, OSI model, that shit, networks, firewalls, endless Zoom meetings. Why do so many of us feel more isolated than ever? Uh, I think more people are lonely. I mean, I think a lot of people are turning to AI for this shit. I mean, I keep reading more and more stories about people looking for AI for companionship. It's like, fuck that. AI is a machine, it has no empathy. Don't make that your friend. Your friend is a real person. It's somebody you can touch. It's somebody, and I think COVID, I mean, made this worse. We were already
Fucked up a
down this
lot of
path with
shit.
social engineering or social networking, and
Hmm.
it really did, man. So, why this matters? Well, we don't talk about it. I don't think we talk about loneliness in cybersecurity. Who wants to admit that they're lonely? Well, I'm lonely. Well, you buck up, Buttercup.
Well, because then you
No,
feel
it's
like
a
if you
thing.
do, you feel like you're just moping around or you're asking for attention or like, yeah, you're just being a bitch or whatever. But it's not.
But sometimes we just need attention, man. Right? I mean, sometimes I just need attention. Sometimes I just need somebody to just acknowledge my
Acknowledge.
presence. Sometimes that's enough to get, yeah, sometimes that's enough to get me out of my loneliness. And I'm an only child, man. I like being alone. I like being by myself for many, many hours, days even, by myself, doing my own shit. But I don't like being lonely. It's different. Lonely is like when I need something, somebody around, and there's nobody there. That's lonely. Um, so we talk about burnout, we talk about stress, we talk about IR fatigue, IR if you don't, incident response fatigue, board level pressure. And under all of that is this isolation, and not just like personal isolation, but professional isolation. I find it often, I love my wife, and it's funny. Yesterday, we're sitting on this beautiful boat looking at blah, blah, blah. My wife goes, "Thank you for working so hard for this." And I was like, I couldn't have done this, not even half of it, without you, without your support. Um, because, I needed somebody there to not make me feel lonely, because I am my own worst enemy too. If you leave me alone long enough, man, I'm going to destroy something, and I'll end up in jail probably, end up drinking again probably. But there's this professional isolation, and I know it frustrates my wife too, because she'll ask about my day, and I'll explain it to her, and she won't get it. It's really common in this industry that people don't understand what we actually do. They don't understand what we face. They don't understand how heavy it gets some days. That's professional isolation. And we need to talk about that shit. We need to get it out there and learn, I think, skills to where it doesn't get to be better of us. for what is what did you when you read that, or when you for lostness to become false? Hear what I just said. What goes in your mind? What do you think about?
Your bandwidth is really starting to go, so I'm waiting to catch up here. Um, I do feel like people don't understand what we do. I think we've done a disservice to ourselves. Everyone thinks we're just hackers and we break things. Uh, Most people don't understand. We're trying to protect things, and if you're in it for the right reasons for service, then I think loneliness becomes the default setting. I've lived it. I'm still going through it, so I get it.
Yeah. Can you still hear me?
Yes, it seems better right now.
Okay. Well, because I'm going down in this lock, I should show. I wish I could show a picture like the wall like there, like we're up above the wall, and now we're going down the thing, and like like the river was up there, but it's not more. Now we're down here. It's weird as shit.
Must be a cool
The thing about
experience.
the podcast recording is that when we record this, it's on two different recording things. It's pretty cool. So the podcast recording will work out just fine, but this live thing is getting kind of weird because I'm in this hole now. What the hell? I think maybe they're burying me, Matt.
I hope not.
I'm worth saving, guys. Seriously, don't bury me
I
in this.
agree.
Have you ever been
Hmm.
through a lock before?
No, no, I don't think I have. It's you probably feel the boat moving. That must be weird.
All right.
That's why they time it when people are sleeping.
On our YouTube channel. I'll take a I'll post on this before. All right. So on the post, loneliness. It's crazy how much shit I think we get backwards. Society gets backwards. Like I think a lot of people think that loneliness is a weakness. It's not a weakness. It's human. And I think when you realize that, because I've never wanted to be a guy who comes off as being weak. I want to lead well. I want people to follow the shit that we're doing. You have a vision. You have a place where you want to take people as a leader. And it's crazy how non-traditional leadership, meaning leading the way, a unique way that other people maybe don't follow what the masses are doing. That's not leadership anyway. You Because a lot of people think that loneliness is a weakness, or vulnerability, like we talked about last week, is a weakness. None of that is weakness. What's weak is being afraid to face the real challenges, the real problems head on. So, because just ignoring it, claiming that you're not lonely when you are lonely, that's ignorance. That's weak. But when you identify that you're lonely, so it's like a warning light on the dashboard. Insecurity and stigma keep us quiet. Uh, the connection is where the real healing begins. And we've talked, you mentioned early on, Matt, where I've said it many times over the years that it's lonely at the top of the mountain. And it's funny how when our leaders, as they come up through the ranks at, in organizations that I've led and at, FR Secure, you say that to them, they're like, what? You sound like some, you know, sage, I don't know, monk or something. But when they're in the game for a little bit, for a little while, they start, getting there. Uh, they recognize the same thing, like, holy shit, like nobody understands what the fuck I'm going through. So it's cool that in our own organizations, and this is a place where you can go if you want to be a CISO and you want to grow your own team and you want to lead them well. We start sharing the wisdom and advice like this stuff, and then they start coming up, through the ranks. So you should always be looking for your replacement. Always be looking for somebody to put in your place. As you do that, then those people that you're growing end up being the people that you can relate to. So then you almost create like this support group to avoid the loneliness. Some of the best conversations I have to avoid my own loneliness when it comes to professional stuff is my own team because they're going through it or they've been through it. Plus, they can share with me. Maybe I've been through it too. So anyway, Matt, have you seen this in in your own work history? Have you seen have you had leaders lead you this way, meaning come right out and talk about loneliness or say something like it's, like what I say, it's lonely at the top of the mountain. Have you heard these kinds of things before? Because you came up through a whole different leadership style. You came up through, the Marine Corps and then, now the private sector.
Yeah, no, no
Tell me
one's
your thoughts.
ever talked about it, but it it's definitely, I think, in the Marine Corps you probably it's you probably see it more just because you actually have like a peer group. I would say in the corporate world it's more like a different office or whatever, right? You could be geo separated. In the Marine Corps you're with it and you're with all the troops, and then you get promoted, you start getting into a smaller circle, so you can define it that way. I always separated. I felt like it was hard for me to maintain friendships after you get promoted, so I disconnected. So I created my own
Mm,
loneliness. I
right.
don't know if that's the right way or the wrong way, but it's what I did. In the corporate world or military, I've never heard anybody talk about it in this sense before.
Mm. Well, another thing that was a struggle in when we promoted Oscar to be president of FR Secure, I shared with him, and another thing I think that contributed to the loneliness was there was a day when I was one of the guys, where uh, you treated me like one of the guys, and I treated you like one of the guys. It was almost like in a locker room, where the players all joke around, and it felt good to be one of the guys. And then there was a day when I had to make a choice in my own career. Do I want to continue to be one of the guys, which is fine, right? Some people are built for that. Or do I feel called to be management, leader, because I'm not going to be one of the guys anymore? I mean, we're still going to have, you know, friendships and, stuff like that, but it's different. It's like when you have, all the players joking around in the locker room, having a great time, and then the coach walks in and it gets silent.
Right.
They still respect the coach. They, might even love the coach, but it's not the same. And so, you know, and I've given leaders that I've led, I've explained that and given them the option. Like before you walk into this, know that this is what's going to happen. Like you're not going to be one of the guys anymore. And if you are still one of the guys, you're not leading right because it's natural. So you're going to need what you used to have for support and not loneliness. It's gone. It's just it's different now. And I think it's a good conversation. And I think it's I would encourage anybody who's leading
Oh,
to
We're getting some crazy connection here with
and
you
you have
right now.
teams under you making on the road, but you. Oh, I do podcast. My back, Matt.
Yes. Yes, I heard you there. Oh, I see you moving now. Ish.
What problems?
Reichert said something's playing against you every time you're about to say something profound. It just starts to, freeze up.
Lead a team. Now,
You want to try turn off the cam and see if that frees
and
up some bandwidth?
but again, not maybe the French just got internet. Do the French have internet? I think yeah.
Oh, I heard you say the French have internet.
Yeah, do the French have internet yet?
I think they do. Don't they get it from us?
I don't know. Well, whatever internet they got, they ain't got the right one. I think maybe we're having some OSI model issue problems here.
Yep. Network layer
Probably
type.
more layer 1, layer 2 issues, Matt.
Well, okay.
If I were
Old
to guess, I'm guessing
infrastructure.
this is probably layer 1, layer 2, and for Marcus, that would be more connectivity issues, right? I'm probably not having routing issues. That would be more at layer 3. Yeah, probably not application layer issues, which is where you would find some of your security stuff you were looking for in the OSI model. Probably, maybe presentation layer as well. That would be where encryption comes into play. Did you catch any of
All
that
theoretical, of
exercise, Matt?
course. It's all fake news.
Yeah, I mean,
Of course.
the fuck do I know? All right. So what we were talking about? Oh, loneliness. So loneliness, and it's funny because all this is going to be recorded because we each have our own recording that happens locally. So
Hmm.
the podcast, it'll sound funnier than it does this live thing. No, it'll sound better. I don't know. So
We'll
it's
see
about
what
leading
happens.
teams. No, it'll sound better. I was talking. Did anybody ever have the conversation with you? Like, did you a day? Well, maybe you ever realize? So leading, maybe in your own career, but there was a time, when it became painfully obvious that I'm no longer going to be one of the guys, and I have a management route to the engineer route. I do management route because it's a choice. Like, this route seemed like that was the calling route. It chose a route that was the that would be the one where I could provide the most value. With leaders that through to you.
Third
So you're gonna
question.
have to, but I've with everybody's, not every. When I say the guys for the well, it just happened because I don't know, make that choice. And when I say one of anybody's who's but I'm actually most recent is because what made him such an effective manager of his teams was he was one of the guys. People could relate to him. People loved having him on the teams, and then it became you're not going to be that guy anymore. So you're going to navigate. You got to navigate those waters because, and on the loneliness side, that's what you're giving up as you progress, through the ranks. Where I used to find so much camaraderie, companionship, support as being one of the guys, it's gone. I mean, I can still go talk to them, and that's the difference I think between loneliness and just like being with people. So, did you have to go through that same thing, Matt, or do you feel like you're going to be going through that same thing?
In
Does
the
that make
Marine Corps,
sense?
I did, because I had to like ask people to do things that I needed to be done, and it was difficult when we were friends. So I stopped being one of the boys and stopped hanging out with them, and I think that's why I've always been um, closer with leadership than peers or juniors because I think I'm built to lead, I suppose. So I
Hmm.
always peer up, I guess. In the corporate world, not really. I think the corporate world doesn't really take it serious unless you come in at a certain level. If you get promoted, I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, I wonder how many leaders like don't recognize this. They don't recognize that in the promotion the dynamics change. And so one of the dynamics that changes is that team that you had out on the field every day, you just took a player off that team. So the field, so the team is different, right? So like if you could equate it to like football, let's say you were the linebacker, right? And we're going to promote you to coach if that's a promotion or whatever. So you take the linebacker out, you promote them as coach, and now you got to fill the linebacker position, right? Either the coach has to figure out how to scheme better to fill that position, or you have to hire for it. But that'll change the whole dynamic of the team. And then, secondly, when I used to walk into the locker room, I was one of the guys. Man, we joked around. We had, you'd say shit like locker room talk that you don't say in board meetings. You say those things in private with your teams. I can't say that shit anymore. Or I can say it, but it's not going to be the same. They're going to look at me like I'm fucking crazy because who the hell are you? And you only get that through the promotion thing, but I don't think people understand that dynamic enough. Um,
I would
I mean,
agree.
the problem with this stuff is there's a human cost to it, right? I've worked with a lot of teams that were brilliant on paper, checklist tight, controls dialed in, but emotionally dead, dead inside, no connection, no support, no humanity, just people floating in their own silos, smiling through the exhaustion. That's not what we want on these teams. We've talked before about how to build the most effective, most efficient teams, they need to be mentally healthy. They got to have the support. You have to have the humanity. You have to have the real smiling or laughing, but also the real crying and screaming sometimes. So, some common myths to kill. Myth number one: loneliness means you're broken. That's bullshit. The truth is, loneliness is a human signal. Same as hunger, same as exhaustion, same as all the other human stuff. Doesn't mean you're broken. It can lead to brokenness, I think, if you don't identify it, take care of it, just like everything else. Another myth: admitting it makes you weak. That's bullshit. Truth is, pretending you're fine when you're not, that's weak. That will crush you. Another myth, leaders should be tough, self sufficient. That's bullshit. Real leadership builds bridges, not walls. Any leader who claims to be self sufficient is full of shit. None of us are self sufficient. The best leaders throughout history have had support groups and people around them that lift them up, that make them what they are. So actionable advice here, daily check-ins. Ask your team how they're doing, not performative, but real. Like how the fuck you doing? And if that's an awkward discussion with your team, good. It's an awkward discussion with your team. The more you do it, the less awkward it becomes. These are human beings. And even if you've got, because sometimes I think you have leaders who, well, I can't, talk to a junior level analyst and ask how they're doing. I mean, bullshit. Who says you can't do that? If you look through like military history, some of the best generals would go out onto the battle lines or the battlefield to see how the troops doing. Right. So
I mean,
that's
we do
important.
have
So
to
that's actionable advice number one.
cut
Daily
the
check-ins.
dirt and rake the rocks whenever they come out, but they do come out.
Right. Well, and that's military leadership is, I mean, Marines know how to lead for sure. When you're leading a person into battle, I mean, into their potential death, that's fucking leadership for sure. But yeah, I mean, however you want to be treated as that leader, I'm assuming it was a sign of respect back to the general, uh, that we respect you enough that we want to look our best for you, kind of thing.
Yep.
I don't know. Other actionable advice: host no agenda time, virtual or physical spaces where shop talk isn't allowed, or it can be. I mean, you don't want to be, probably don't want to lead like this isn't allowed because that's kind of authoritarian. But when people start talking, this is how I do my one-on-ones every week. We talk about life, right? With my leadership team, I just want to know how the hell they're doing, what they're excited about, what's good, what's bad, whatever they feel like talking about. But we rarely, if ever, talk about business. Um, there's a time to talk about business, and usually waiting until the one-on-one to talk to me about business. You don't have to do that. You can pick up the phone and talk to me about business anytime. If it's important enough, it probably needs more urgency anyway. So that's number two. Number one, daily check-ins. Number two, host no agenda time. Number three, model openness. Yourself. Admit when you're having a rough week. Give others permission to do the same. There's definitely, I share things with my leaders that outside of my wife, I probably don't share with anybody. They're just, I mean, who the fuck doesn't have a rough week? I mean, everybody should. I don't even know what it's like to not ever have a rough week. What the fuck kind of life would that
If
be?
you ask people how they're doing, they're
It's
always
fake.
good, apparently.
Well, on the streets, if I'm walking down the street and you and I are, yeah, hey, how you doing? I'm great. Me too. All right, whatever.
Good.
That's fine. But when I ask my team, how you doing? Yeah, how you doing? Good. No shit. What is good? Like, it's a subjective thing. I don't have to teach it or nothing. But like on a scale of 1 to 10, what the fuck does good mean? Oh, it's a 7. Shit, that ain't bad. I guess if I was going to give mine, I'd probably be like a 5. Oh, really? Why is your 5? I mean, it just, however the fuck you want to do it. But yeah, you got to be open. I want to know when my team's not healthy because my team, I don't want to throw players out on the field when they're not healthy. Yeah, you just fucking pulled your, you know, ligament in your knee and I'm going to throw you out there on the field. Fuck no. We're gonna get healthy first. All right. So real story. This is, ever find yourself in a packed room and still feel invisible? And that's the difference between being around people and still being lonely. So packed room, still feel completely invisible. I was in a boardroom once, surrounded by executives. I've been in boardrooms, lots. In this particular case, what came to mind is I had just pulled an 80-hour work week or more, probably 100 something, cleaning up a breach, right? We were busy. And you have multiple clients, right? So it's like, breach, okay, shit, I got to go do this other board meeting thing, whatever. And someone said in the board meeting, we're lucky nothing serious happened about this breach. And I just nodded because explaining it would have been lonely. It would have been a lot lonelier than staying quiet. And that's what it's sort of like. I could be right next to my wife, my best friend in the world, and try to explain to her what my day was like or whatever and still feel lonely. That's just the way it is. And it's nothing against her, something against whatever, but she can't relate, right? You gotta deal with that, somehow. So the riff here, firewalls don't get lonely. Endpoint protection doesn't get lonely. Your, hacked SharePoint server probably didn't
Hmm?
get lonely.
Your hacked
People do.
FTP server.
So maybe, just maybe, we should stop securing. Right. So maybe, just maybe, we should stop securing everything except for each other. That's, all right. Man, you got anything else? Loneliness? Are you virtual hubby? Just want to talk to Matt.
I'm good on this.
Am I
I
getting disconnected
agreed.
from the internet
It's
again?
a thing.
It's a thing for sure. Well, that's another thing about doing these podcasts with you, man. It kills some of the loneliness. You know what I mean? Just getting this shit off your chest. It
I'd
helps.
just be doing nothing. So hanging out with
All right,
good people is good for the health and the things.
and the things and such. And
Yep.
I think next week I'll be in Amsterdam. I think they got
Oh
internet up there
snap.
now. Netherlands, don't they?
Yeah, we have an office over there. They should have internet.
I think you have an office over there.
Yes. Well,
You,
not me
you
personally.
guys
The
have an office
company.
over there? Oh, I should go. You want me to do some? Yeah. Do you want me to go do some work over there?
I don't know. I think
Work?
we like
Nudge,
lease
nudge,
a
wink, wink. Know what I
part of a
mean?
warehouse or something. I don't know much about it.
All right, I'll go try to find it.
Do your thing.
Don't give me any hints. I'll just see if I can find it.
Plant a flag. I'll
All
see if
right.
I can
So in a
find it.
world of always on alerts and ooh, okay, you can do that. So in a world that with always on alerts and endless expectations, loneliness has become our most ignored vulnerability. So we'll patch it. Let's patch it together.
Patch
All
that
right.
loneliness.
Well, despite all the internet, all the internet connectivity things, that you know, I think that was real. And if you're
We
still with
made
me,
it.
good. Because talking about loneliness isn't just a therapy moment; it's a call to action. Do something about it. All right, Matt. So that brings us to the next part of the show: fixing what's broken. Uh, Loneliness isn't just a personal problem; it's a structural flaw. Blah blah blah. So broken industry fix list. Stop rewarding isolation. The problem, we've glamorized the lone wolf leader, the one who doesn't complain, doesn't sleep, doesn't need help. We hand them the badge for burnout and call it resilience. The industry pats these folks on the back right up until they collapse. And worse, we teach younger professionals that this is the path to success.
I mean, that's what you see at all the
You feel
hacker
that, Matt? Do you agree with
conferences.
that?
Yes, totally.
Right. One, and then it's exacerbated in social media because how many people on social media post like the dirty shit? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Nobody.
just
It's
the
all
dirty,
glamour.
struggly shit.
I
You
got the
always,
best life ever. I'm on a
yeah,
boat.
it's the glam,
I'm at the Cipher con, or I'm at
right?
the whatever con. I'm
And
having a
then
great
they also,
time. but then I go back to my room by myself.
Yeah. Check it out. Check it out. I just hacked a Tesla and a lawnmower. Yeah. You know, that's, and that's, I think, kind of normal. But the problem is you set yourself up, because it's okay. We should all celebrate that shit. I mean, I don't want to detract from that, but it comes at a cost, right? And it's the cost that we need to deal with, right? There's a day of reckoning when you're gonna have to settle up. I'm dealing with that now at my age. I'm 54 years old, and I tell you, like the younger people now, because they like brag about staying up all night, and hacking all night and shit like that. And I'm trying to get it in their head, like, man, that comes at the cost. Like at my age now, I can't do that shit. I'm having to settle up on all that stuff. Like I have to sleep 8 to 10 hours a week to pay for, or a night to pay for all that shit back then. And I know it's from back then, right? Because the things I could do back then, I can't do anymore. It feels like I paid it already, but I haven't. So you have to settle up with this stuff. And the same thing I think happens with the loneliness. These things that you're doing come at a cost, and I think you need to ask what that cost is. So what the fuck are we doing, right? We're celebrating the always on CISO. Celebrate the always on CISO. He's always there. She's always there. They're always there. Who checks the logs at 2 a.m., promoting people for surviving pain instead of fixing systems. Loyalty is one thing, but surviving pain.
I think we're having a glitch again in the Matrix. Oh, we actually lost Evan completely, it looks like. So we will go off script and just continue on. So, what the fuck are we doing? We're saying teamwork in strategy decks, but rewarding individual martyrdom is in practice. And then we'll jump into a real world glitch. I know a CISO who literally slept in the sock during a multi day breach. Nobody asked him to, nobody helped him. When it was over, they gave him a bonus and then did nothing to fix why he felt like he did it alone. That CISO was Mr. Evan. That's his story. The fix, let's normalize it. Let's get rid of the stigmatism and bake support into leadership. I think the key here is we want to make it collaborative, part of the job, not just a soft skill, but this is something we should be always talking about. Mental resilience should be part of your conversations, not just uptime, patch, metrics, all the other crap we talk about. And reward team success, not just solo things. All right, so we got a soundbite here, another rant off of Evan's cuff. If your culture only celebrates people who suffer in silence, you're not running a security program. You're running a gladiator pit. I think that's good. All right, here's a challenge for everybody. This week, find one security leader or a rising star you haven't checked in on, no agenda, and just ask how they're doing. Then shut up and listen. All right, closing punchline. Security is about protecting people. Stop breaking them to prove that they belong. Fix the system, fix the people before they get eaten alive. All right. Oh,
Dude,
Evan is back. We can
how
jump
long was I
into
gone?
the outro. Like 3 or 4 minutes. I continued on. I read
Dude,
through.
I had so
the
much
rest.
like wisdomy things.
I read through your story. If you want to talk about that, I read through the fix. We're
Oh,
on the outro, but I don't know if you want to talk about your story of sleeping in the sock.
yeah. Have you ever had to sleep in the data center?
No.
It's not
Every
something.
time we have something, I just work from home.
There was that story hits home. I used to my favorite place to sleep in this particular data center was, there's one that I thought about was I'd sleep behind the PBX, and the reason why I slept behind the PBX was it was quieter back there. It was darker back there, but most importantly, it was warmer behind the PBX. Data centers, server rooms are typically chilly. Um, but yeah, multiple times. And it was the frustrating part. I didn't know any better at the time, but I felt proud to do that. You know what I mean? I felt like, yeah, I'm the man. I mean, people are going to fucking tell stories about this for the rest of my life. This is awesome shit. It wasn't awesome. Maybe at the time it was, but they didn't do anything. The company didn't do anything to fix that problem. And that problem isn't healthy, right? To have to do that, feel like you had to do that. And it wasn't just me, it was my members of my team as well. Um, yeah, it's give me a bonus, pat me on the back. Great. It still feels alone. It feels alone when I'm there, overnight when I should be at home in bed, you know, with my wife, spending time with my family. Uh, yeah, isolated, alone, and then you don't do anything to fix it. So that was, yeah, that's the fixing the brokenness of that shit. So the fix normalize community, systemize connection, bake support into leadership. Your leaders need support. They set the example for everybody else. So you went
I
through
went
everything else.
through all this already. Yep.
Good.
If you want to jump
All right.
to the outro,
Outro.
yes, sir.
Well, that's it. I mean, this is a wrap, right? This is a wrap for this episode of InfoSector Insanity, episode number 41. With it, we end the mental health without the bullshit series. We talked about a lot of shit, dude.
We did. We went. It was a lot of weeks, a lot of good, a
Yeah.
lot of good things, a lot of support, built-in tips, tricks you can use yourself. Feel free to jump in and listen back on those whenever you're struggling, or hit us up.
Yeah. Well, and we'll come back to this. I mean, we'll come back around to this again. Maybe we'll do this again next May. I know for me personally, this was a personal thing, and it was therapeutic for me. If we had one listener or no listeners, it was still worth it because it allowed me to work through a lot of these things mentally, and it allowed me to do it with a good friend that I can trust. To walk through the fire with me. So we talked about burnout, we talked about stress, we talked about trauma. Today we talked about loneliness, and we didn't do it because it's trendy. We did it because it's true. We don't just do information security to secure systems. We carry stories with us. We hold pain, and in my opinion, we sure as hell don't get enough space to talk about it. To just be
Right.
yourself.
I mean, like every day, every month is another day of thing. Today is blah day. That day, like every day should be mental health day. Fuck that.
So it has to be,
Normalize
man.
it.
Just like those people that take care of their own physical health, they have routine, right? They go to the gym every day or they run every day, whatever it takes to take care of. And that's why you can't just do one thing. It's got to be what works best for you. But mental health is just like that. I mean, you have to deal with it, work it out daily. Sometimes it's journaling. Sometimes, I mean, it's a whole bunch of shit that you could be doing. So if you've been through this series with us, you know, laughing, crying, cringing, you're not just a listener, you're part of the tribe. And if you're still feeling alone out there, you're not. I want, never feel like you're alone. I mean, I can't tell you never to feel like you're alone, but know that there's people you can talk to. We're in this together, trench buddies till the end. Now, it's almost 6 o'clock. Holy crap. Don't think of slowing down. Don't think we're slowing down because we're going to be here next week. Brand new series. Accountability in cybersecurity is broken. Accountability. Yeah, that's right. We're going there. We are going there. Vendors, execs, regulators, you name it. If you're ducking blame, dodging truth, or hiding behind dashboards, we're coming for you. Episode 42. Next episode kicks it off, and it's going to be a doozy. So do
I
the right thing.
feel like this next series might limit my future job opportunities.
It should open doors for you, man. Anybody who wants to do shit right and wants to be on the right side of right
We'll
is going to
see.
welcome your
I'm
shit.
excited. I'm excited.
And then if that's true, because we don't want to do that, you do have to make a living. I mean, we can clearly state. I mean, this is Evan's opinion. I'm just here to
Nah,
be the
I'm good,
sidekick guy.
man.
All right.
I
So do the
I've
thing.
I
Subscribe. Leave a
stopped
review.
being truthful for a long time to
There you go.
like fit in. So I don't give a shit.
No, man. So subscribe. Leave a review. Send this episode to someone who needs to hear it. Maybe we'll have to re-record it so it's not quite so Frenchy. I'm gonna call that now when I don't have good bandwidth. I'm gonna call it
I
Frenchy.
like it.
Yeah. And if you got a story from your own front lines, from your own leadership, from the edge of insanity, whatever, hit us up. Let us know. We'll read them all. And yeah, until next time, stay human, stay paranoid. We'll see you in the
We
next war room. Yeah.
we have a shout out
Oh, that's
for
right. Big shout out.
yeah, for Reichert. Riker? Yeah, Reichert.
Riker.
For congrats on the CISP and using the FR Secure mentorship program. Glad to see that is helping people. How many years you been doing that now? How many thousands of people?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, 2010 was the first year. So I think this was year number 16. But we changed the format this year. So, but I think overall it's like 110, 112,000, something like that.
Nice.
Fixing the broken industry, man. It's got to start somewhere, right? And you got to start, even if it seems like so insignificant, it's a contribution. And so if you want to know at the end of the day whether you're helping fix the broken industry or making it worse, is just ask what you're doing. Am I making it better or making it worse? That's where it starts. So yeah, I'm happy that Riker's, he's definitely in this game, for the right reasons. Hope we can keep, all stay true to that, and let's go make a fucking difference out there.
Hell yeah.
All right, man. Well, that's it. Let's wrap this thing up. We'll get on to 41, and maybe I'll be in like Amsterdam next week, so maybe I'll have better internet. I don't know.
Sounds groovy. We appreciate you taking time out of your personal time.
Yeah, I love you guys, man. You know that. All right, stream is off.